She like, all your brothers is here, your sister's here. Everybody, I'm like, oh, word, everybody back in the crib. I'm like, damn, I'm over here living in this crib with this wolf right now.
Bro, your life's a movie. I didn't know about this.
Yeah, it was too wild, bro.
Yo, what's up, guys? I am Thomas, dope as Yola, whatever you want to call me. Welcome back to the Dope as Usual podcast. I am with my co-host, Marty O'Neill.
What's up, guys?
Guys, you can quit bugging, all right? Quit DMing me. It's finally here. This is the Dizzy Wright episode. Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
And before we started, we just discovered it's been almost 7 years that I've seen you then.
Yeah, it's probably been that long.
Been a long time, bro.
Yeah.
A very long time. And because I was like getting ready for the episode, I'm like, man, I haven't seen some of these clips. Remember when I brought you to that event and we basically blacked out on the chicken wings and lemonades?
Yeah.
I'm meeting my homie tonight with the dreads. He's coming. He just moved back. I'm meeting him after this.
Oh, word.
Yeah, because we're working on a company with his lemonades together.
Oh, yeah, you got to tell him I said what's up.
It's a trip, bro. You don't look a day older. Neither do I. It's very odd. Dude, it's been almost a decade. All right. But yeah, I was just going through my pictures, just seeing. It's a trip thinking back. Like, it's been that long, but it doesn't feel like it, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Truly. And before we get on it, before I forget, every single person out there, you're the one that put me on Hennessy and apple juice. Everyone asks me, thousands of comments, why are you chasing the apple juice? My friend showed me a long time ago. I swear to God, I was on a 4-year kick on that.
Hey, yeah, I was on it for a long time.
I had to stop. I just feel like the Hennessy kind of went like this.
Yeah.
Did you invent that?
No, I didn't invent it. It was just something that I enjoyed. But I also got off the Hennessy as well because it started getting weird.
It started getting almost like I wake up feeling like, was that Hennessy?
Yeah, like, was that Hennessy? Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I just stopped altogether. But yeah, the 4-year span, guys, it's because of this man right here. Just a little sip of apple juice after, you're done.
Yeah, that's it.
And then I saw you had the song come out, Eye Contact for the Respect. You said that to me when we were in Exhibit Studio when you were doing that Floyd Money Mayweather song.
Yeah, I was working on Growing Process.
Show this. And you're like, tell me what you think. And you guys were all hitting the shots. And I'm like, what are you saying? And then everybody's staring at each other's eyes. Like, all right, it's a thing. All right, it's a thing. That was a good night, man. It was a good night. That's the night we gave Mott's on that giant dab, and he bent me and passed out down.
Yeah, Mott's. I think about that all the time. He was like, his head was full blown red.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was one of my first LA chill nights. Honestly, dude, I never did nothing before. And then, the last time I saw you was you in Demrick's music video with all the packs and the flight attendant.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the last time we seen each other.
Damn, yeah.
It's been a long time.
When was that?
Like 16, probably.
Yeah, that was 16. It was 2016.
That was the year I moved here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow, time's flying. So you have 3 babies now.
I do.
Wow, man. One's 12. You're about to have a teenage daughter, man.
Crazy.
Oh, my God.
It's crazy.
I hope you're strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, your daughter's cool, though. She's chill. I like her. His she's the low-key wild teenager. Like, she's respectful. She's not doing crazy things.
Yeah.
That's
what's important.
You teach them and raise them. But he's just getting into it. You're about to step into it. I'm still babyless, so, I'll be chilling for a minute. But on that note, since we're here, let's spark these joints, yeah?
Yeah, let's get right.
So whenever you want, if that runs out, I got a joint for you.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you.
What do we got here?
This is lemon poppers.
You went full American Psycho on these things yesterday. You were labeling them and
organizing I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what did I do? Yeah, I had this all labeled up. So your album drops today.
Yes.
A couple hours.
Yes.
Well, I mean, this doesn't come out right now, but the album's dropping today.
It drops today.
All right. How long are you working on this one for?
I started maybe the end of last year, like October maybe.
Oh, no shit. How many, can you say how many songs are on it?
Yeah, there's 12 songs and 2 skits, right?
The in-betweens?
I believe so. Yeah, like 2 little skits and 12 songs, yeah. It's a quick, cool little project, easy listen to.
Nice, man. Yeah, no, I was trying, like, like I said, when they said that you were coming, I was trying to explain, like, this is going to be fun. This is going to be different. It's going to be sick.
I want to say wrong. Live at Daddy Max.
Live at Daddy Max.
What was the inspiration behind the cover art? I'm a graphic designer, so I'm obsessed with cover art. It's my thing.
Well, I wanted something that was kind of cohesive with the music. So the music is feels like old school music, kind of revamped a little bit. And it's groovy. It's like funky. It's groovy. It's it really doesn't sound like anything that's out right now. So I wanted the artwork to represent like, you know, like grooviness, like 70s kind of feel to it a little bit, but
Funkadelic kind of?
yeah, kind of funkadelic. You know what I mean? I'm not all the way sure exactly what I wanted it to be. So shout out to Casey, who did all my artwork for this project. He did all the artwork for the singles, and he did the album.
Damn.
But I put the music in his hands so he could hear it and
Love that.
Oh, you made it that way.
yeah, so he can. I wanted to see if he felt what I felt. You know what I mean?
That's how you're supposed to do it.
And he did, and he was able to, you know, really bring that to life. So
That's my favorite style, that 70s vintage, like those old Hendrix posters. That
word.
vibe. It's just my shit.
Nah, I feel you. So that's dropping. I know I said it again, but that's pretty awesome, man. This just dropping in a couple hours. You said.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything else for the rest of after this for the album drop? Or are you just gonna be chilling?
No, this is all I'm doing before the show tonight. So tour starts tonight.
Where's the
Here in LA at Catch One. So it's the It Gets Greater Later tour with Jaron Benton and Dimrick and myself. We kicking off tonight.
Damn.
So I'm pretty much, this album is, we're doing it different. Like, it's not like the typical, like, put the project out and let the fans live with the project. It's more like, put the project out and I want the fans to come out and experience something new with me. So if you've seen my shows before, you haven't really seen what we're about to go out here and do. So we're doing a lot of new music. And we're inviting people into this new element that we're tapping into. We're not trying to like linger on the older stuff. You know, there's some classics that we will tap into, of course, but we want to lean on the new music and bring people in and introduce them to this new vibe, because we just feel like it's refreshing. Everything kind of feels the same. So we're just trying to, you know, get out that box, I would say.
Start a new chapter.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming some live music, some live instruments on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be sick.
It's so much more difficult to do that when producing an album. To get in there with like actual musicians and use instruments versus just going in there with beats, but it really makes all the difference.
Well, you know, shout out to Mike and Keys. Mike and Keys did the full album for me. A lot of them know them for doing Nipsey's last album. And they really came in and gave me a sound that like, it's like an untapped into sound right now. You know, I'm excited for you guys to hear it.
They did the whole thing?
They did the whole thing.
Wow.
So it's and then Mars came in, who is like the third member in their producer group. Their producer group is called Three Ninjas. It initially started out with Mike and Keys producing the album, and Mars came in and really put the sauce on the top. And like, you know, we were able to like cultivate this music together. So it's a lot different than I've done it in the past, where I'm just experienced life and, you know, talking about what inspired me or how I want to inspire people, and putting that on the music and putting it out, you know.
Had you worked with them before?
No.
So
I've known them for a long time, but we haven't been able to.
was it different than with producers that you worked with in the past, like in terms of like, all right, here's the vocals, let's see what you do with it, and then what they came back with?
Oh yeah, and it wasn't even, because a lot of the stuff that they gave me worked. Like, you know, I was kind of in my bag when I was coming up with some of these melodies and some of the concepts and things like that. But them being there and to kind of like confirm that that was the proper direction to go, I think gave me a lot of motivation. You know what I'm saying? So instead of just, you know, me being like, hey, this is what I'm going through in life. So in my projects, you know, I'll say my age a lot. I actually don't say my age in this at all. That lets you know something. But
something different.
All my projects, I normally say my age because I'm trying to state where I'm at in my growing process, right? Like that way, depending on where you're at, you can kind of compare.
Yeah.
So, kind of out of that element, after doing 10 years independent and kind of like, you know, doing things the way that I wanted to do things and pushing my pen the way that I wanted to push my pen and put the messages out that I wanted to put out without anybody telling me that I couldn't. I've always been happy with that, you know. Now it's really about just seeing how far we can take this music shit. How big it can sound, how different it can sound, how original we can be.
And you got that fan base, bro.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Strong
You're making music to serve your fan base, basically. Like at the end of the day, that's what we found works. Do what your fans want.
And this one's a little different, though. I feel like you're like, let me just try something I'm almost not comfortable with, because once you got the validation of them, like, yeah, that's the direction you should be taking this. Like you said, I almost got inspired. Like it's like a public speaking for the first time. You're not sure if you're good at it. You come off stage like, yo, you did fucking great. Yeah, it gives you a little boost of like, all right, I'm on the right direction, the right path. That's what I would think.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Anybody? You said you had Gerard, and then who else? Demerick are on this, you said? Or that's the show.
Oh, the tour, Jaron Benton and Demerick.
Thank you.
On the album.
Where's the hat, right? He wears like a lot of bill. Is he a bald dude, right?
Jaron?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He got the baldy.
Yeah, right? He's a bald dude, right?
Baldy. Nah,
Saying
but
this coming out.
on the album, I just have Problem and TD Banks.
Oh, okay.
So I did an open verse challenge for one of my fans to be on the album. So I put the record out there, and they were able to do their verses and submit their verses, and you know, we picked the winner, and that winner
It's on your album?
is on my album.
Oh,
So
shit.
yeah, and he came with it. His name TD Banks. He did his thing.
Where's he from?
He's from Chicago. Originally, I think he's from Detroit, but he's stationed in Chicago. Very talented artist, and he did his thing.
What made you decide to Willy Wonka
That's a really
this?
cool idea. I've never heard
Like,
of that
yo,
being
I'm gonna
done
give you
before.
a chance, an experience. Like, that's a life.
I love that.
He could be 90 years old. Go, hey, put that song. That's me.
Word.
That's hard.
Yeah,
dude. It's
word.
like you're solidifying them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's dope. What we just randomly thought there's got to be somewhere out there dope. You just did it.
Yeah, you know, I think sometimes when I think about artists who I want to work with, I can't always necessarily see who fits what I'm on. You know, I know that I can adjust to what other artists do sometimes, but, you know, certain artists can't adjust to what I do sometimes. And then you have like some of the greats that can come in, that have came in over my career and really did their thing, like Big Crit and Tech Nine and Currency and Mozzie and some of these dudes that were able to tap into what I had going on. But with this, I didn't want to force anything. Like, I didn't want to try to just find bigger names to you know, get their fan base. And I know that's the game you kind of got to play. But it's like I'm revamping myself. It's like I'm back live at Daddy Max, where I'm not really tripping off that. I'm like, I just want to put out dope music with dope people. And like, if I could put an opportunity out there for an artist to like be able to shed some light, you know, I feel like it's going to be a little more passionate than somebody who already has the light already shining on them. So I took the chance because I felt like, you know, over my career, I've been able to, you know, attract good people, you know, whether it's artists or it's the fans or it's whoever. Like, some of the verses we got back were fire. Some of the verses we got back were trash, you know, but a lot of the verses had good subject matters, you know, like a lot of, you could tell were like thoughtful people, whether it was good or bad, you know. So I'm glad that I was able to attract. It's not like motherfuckers was sending me verses back about shooting up the club or like
That's a good point, though.
taking a bunch of drugs or some shit, right? Like, that's not what I attract. So it was a cool experience.
What a cool way to sample the fan base.
Oh man, right? Like, you get nothing but positivity and deep ass messages. Like, hey, I know it. It's just the same thing. Like, if I go out to a meet and greet and I went to Texas to do the meet and greet, right? I didn't expect it's Texas, but I was signing extended clips and guns. But that's the culture. But everybody that had them was like so happy and high five. I'm like, And I'm like, you hold it. And I'll sign. I don't want my fingerprints on your shit. But I did sign a couple clips, but that's just the way of life. But nobody was weird. Nobody came through with a weird gang. There were gangbanger ass fools. But when they came up, they're like, yeah, what's up? And that's what I try to bring out of people. Like,
Yeah.
That's what I try to give off. I'm happy that that's what's reciprocated. Nice fool. And then the same thing with your music. Like, I got some sick shit. Nobody's telling me about popping Percocets.
Not a lot of rappers can say that.
No, hell no.
The majority of the submissions I got in this contest were thoughtful.
Yeah. You know, I appreciated that part of it. You know what I'm saying? So it was a cool experience.
That's cool. And the fact you put him on the album, oh man, that fool's juice. You know, count down days, the hours right now.
It'd be sick to see, like, next time you do it, if you do it again, like, film yourself. You just cut. You're sitting there listening to all the different beats. You like little samples of them and shit.
I got some footage of some of it for sure. Like, cause it wasn't just me. It was a process. Like, I had all my homies in there. We listened to this together. You know what I'm saying? But
that's a good
I
idea.
think the best part about it all is we were able to choose somebody, and it's a verse that I love. So, you know, the artist that we chose, it wasn't like I just had to choose somebody, right? Like, it was a verse that I love.
Wasn't the best of the worst.
It's like, it's what I would want my fans to hear, you know? So
What a cool experience on both ends.
Yeah, work.
Very cool.
Shout out to TD Banks.
Juiced. You know he's juiced right now.
Could you imagine?
I'd be. I remember you getting, when you were younger, like, yo, Cartoon Network liked my post. I don't know, whatever you did as a kid, like, yo, they put me on an episode. It's just like, you know, like I said, ingrained. But before I forget, I wanted to say this earlier. I was thinking about it on the drive here. First time I ever went to your spot out in Vegas, I don't remember how old you must have. You're what, you're 32? Yeah, you're younger than me. So I was like 24, 25. But I remember going into your gated spot, and I had never met a young fool on his shit that had his, because I'm from the poor ass part of California.
Right.
We get an apartment, like, damn, you got your own apartment, it's sick. Whenever I walked in, and I think it was you and Freeze, and I was like, it's your house, I love it, I'm so happy for this. And then I was just like, yo, this is the way of life for you? I gotta do something. This is great. It wasn't more like, oh, I bet you I could do it. This motherfucker's super nice. He's a pothead. I could do it too.
Yeah, word.
Yeah, I just moved into a gated community first time ever last month, and I thought of your ass the first time I pulled in, like, I remember pulling in. I don't remember what car you had, but I remember there was a car outside. I went, crushing it. And I just remember when we played video games and smoked, I'm like, this is the level of peace that I need to accomplish.
Word.
And you had hella toys for your, well, now 12-year-old daughter, but that's scary to think about again. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Was that the first time you had seen somebody living a
it's the first
lifestyle
time I
like
ever
that?
met anybody that didn't live with their parents or in an apartment ever in my life. That's before I ever. Anyway, yeah. So I remember that shit. I remember things like that, man. Just because I remember I moved in, like, Dizzy had a spot like this. I love it.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, it's good shit, man. It's just motivation. I just remember thinking back, like, one day. So one day, here we are.
And here we are, and you did it. Congratulations.
No,
brother.
thank you, man.
That's incredible.
Stoked to be here right now. I'm fucking high as hell too. But, you know.
That's incredible.
All right, let's continue before I start ranting and shit. Go ahead, Marty.
So, I mean, just kind of going off that, if you were to, like, for somebody that doesn't know, break down all the projects that you've been putting out over the years independently, like going back to even that time frame, like, what does that look like in terms of, like, all the different bodies of work that you put out?
Planning ahead. A lot of it is planning ahead. I always kind of knew what I wanted to do next, or, like, you know, what I was gonna tap into. If I was on tour, I would, like, make plans to, like, tap into something different, or go explore, research something different, and through that I would get inspired by things, and it would just lead to, like, the music and lead to the vibes or the community work or whatever it might be. But really just planning ahead. The pandemic made that weird, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, it put it all at a halt, and you really had to, like, hit the reset button and restart, you know? So, but I would still say, back in those days, it was a lot of planning ahead and having a vision. So I wasn't kind of, like, getting to a point where I didn't know what I was gonna do and could be steered any kind of way.
Yeah.
You know, or be motivated to do something that might bend.
Yeah. Over time, a lot of people are like, going in different directions that are kind of not authentic to themselves. Mm-hmm. But you can kind of look back and be like, this has really just been me putting like myself forward the whole time.
Yeah.
No, you're still the same guy.
Word.
You know what I mean? Like, I see what you're saying. Like, people try to put on this, well, I think this is what this guy should look like.
Yeah, I mean, you can...
It doesn't really work that way, bro.
Yeah, and in this industry, they convince you to try to get as big as possible and then chill, you know? And then, you know, so... And then come back and, you know, and all these different things. And it doesn't work like that for everybody, you know what I'm saying? So I think for me, I never really had like a chill, like... oh, I'm not going to put music out this year. I did well last year.
Yeah.
You know, like, even if I did well last year, I was still growing in real life. So it was like things that I wanted to talk about or, you know, things that I might have talked about in the past in my music, but now I'm learning about it in a different way. So I want to find a different way to talk about that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and show the growth in that. So I use the music as a way to like express those things.
Yeah. Totally.
But yeah.
Now, Thomas told me that you're related to one of my favorite rappers of all time, basically. Bone Thugs and Harmony, Lazy Bone, right?
Not by blood, but yeah.
There's relation there, right?
Yeah, you gotta be honest. I didn't even know that shit.
Yeah.
Until recently, I'm like,
yeah, not by blood. My mom was the road manager for Bone Thugs and Harmony back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And became like family. So yeah, you let him tell it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm his nephew. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, not by blood, but yeah, that's Bone is like my family.
Yeah, that's legendary to me. Like, For My Money, East 1999 is like one of the greatest albums of all time.
I agree.
Even like, where were you at in life when you were like finding out about that? Were you just like a deep hip hop fan and you're like just all in the mix? What was that?
I mean, your mom had to be. You got to know what your mom's doing. She's sitting there, hey, sit there. I'm going to be managing this group. It's not like you were oblivious to it, right?
Yeah.
No,
You were
actually,
there.
no, we weren't. So my mom's would go travel and go do those things. You know what I'm saying? So,
It's a road management. She's
yeah,
a road
my mom was.
manager.
Yeah, my mom was the road manager, so she would hit the road with Bone and things like that. And but I was a youth reporter. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, I was introduced to hip hop through my mom. Like, you know, she was in the industry. We were doing the youth reporting thing, and then one day she was just like, you know, if I wrote the raps, would you rap them? Yeah, and I was like, yeah. I mean, if it's gone.
Wait, how old were you?
8.
All right, I can't wait to hear this. I did not know this.
Yeah, I was 8 years old.
Like in the studio or like on camera or some shit? Like,
yeah, no, my mom had access to studios and stuff like that. So yeah, me and my brother would record in studios as little kids.
as 8-year-olds?
Well, by the time we was in the studio, I think I was 9 and my little brother was 7. And yeah, we started rapping. And like my mom wrote the raps for like hella long, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until I was like 13, 12 or 13, when I started to want to write the raps. And my mom was like,
I don't know about that.
she like, well, what it was I was 13 and I wanted to rap about the stuff that I was going through.
13-year-old shit.
You know? And my mom was like, don't nobody want to hear no 13-year-old talking about that shit. She's like, what? Like, and that, you know, I wanted to talk about girls and shit. She like, nah, we not talking about no girls.
What
like,
was she ghostwriting for you guys? Like, what was like?
Positive shit.
Yeah.
Like, just a bunch of positive shit. Like, it's crazy. It was like she was trying to groom us to be like little positive rappers, which the irony is crazy because I became,
it worked.
you know, a positive rapper, you know, but they say what you install in them at a young age is who they initially become.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the energy you install
really
in them.
believe
So,
that.
but you know, at the time, like that positive shit wasn't really. That shit didn't make no sense to me. You know, because nothing was positive. Like I'm like, it's you want us to rap about some fake shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
got you.
what the fuck is positive about anything we going through? You know what I'm saying? This don't make no sense. You want me to get up there and...
Was she on some like speak it into existence type of shit? Like trying to get you to like, use your minds?
She was on some, we need to motivate other kids. That's the only way it's gonna work. So the only way this kid rap shit work is if you can motivate the other kids. Like, the adults not gonna listen to you. You know what I'm saying? And you can't be the kid that's introducing the kids to the shit that their parents need to be introducing them to. So she had the mindset of just like, you gotta be a leader.
Yeah.
I couldn't really understand what the fuck she was trying to tell me. I
Yeah,
was
you're
like,
a kid.
what does that have to do with like the fact that like none of the shit we talking about is like happening in our real life? All this positive shit.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I'm just fronting over here. Even as a kid, that's hard, especially as a
I'm like,
kid.
you gotta understand, we was like, I was living in a shelter.
Rapping
You know
about
what I'm
positivity.
saying? Yeah, like my mom had me in a shelter trying to rap about positivity. Like,
Was she trying to like get a record deal type shit? Like she was trying to like get $1 million deal with it?
yeah, she was trying to get a deal for us.
Like so, like what era of music is this? Like
This is 2003, 2004.
Definitely not on the positivity shit.
no, this is the 50 Cent wave.
Yeah, this is the G Unit way.
Yeah.
Gun wave right now.
Yeah, you
Right
know what
before
I'm saying?
social media still, so it's not
She
viral.
was
Isn't
thinking
even
kids bop rap.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
She
the,
was
the
thinking
happy
some-
kids and like all plain color shirts from Target and shit.
Right.
I remember that era. On
Right.
TV, they try to sell those CDs and shit.
It really was that though, the black color shirt from Target.
That's exactly what it was. All one color.
I was like, what the fuck
Two
is
buttons.
this?
I had that shit. I was a poor ass kid.
And it's crazy
From
because,
Walmart,
but
man.
see, this is the thing. Is like I have friends in my neighborhood that I hung out with. We knew our circumstances, so I couldn't play that positive shit for them.
It's hard speaking. It's hard being like that. Yeah, when there's
It's
no
like
evidence. of
I'm
it.
out here
Yeah.
with these niggas. Like we see what's going on. We know how we gotta move, how we gotta act right now. Like in the 8th grade, like
And this was in
just
Vegas.
Yeah, this in Vegas. It's like you can't just be doing.
I don't think I've ever heard this version. It's always the opposite.
Yeah,
Kid from the suburbs trying to act hard. I haven't. This is such a wild story.
yeah. This like the opposite.
The exact opposite.
I get what is where
get
she's
why she
going.
was saying
Yeah.
it,
See,
But
my
for
mom, my mom is she trying to change that mentality. See, my older brother was already a lost cause. You know, he was in and out of juvie and jail and things like that. So he was making the mistakes, and my mom was just like, I was the second notice. So she just like trying to change.
She was
you know,
plugged
she
into
trying to be in the
music.
corner for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She did everything right. You know what I'm saying? But like, I just couldn't see it like that back then. You know what I'm saying? It was tricky.
But you stayed in the studio. It seems like you said there was 5 years went by, and you're like, oh, now I want to write this shit.
Well, you know what's crazy is it wasn't until, cause my mom kind of gave up on the music shit. Like, you know, a lot of mistakes have been made, a lot of chances have been took that fell through.
That's how it
And,
goes.
you know, she's a single parent with 5 kids. I mean,
Damn.
at some point you gotta pull the trigger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she ended up pulling the trigger and things like that. And, you know, I was kind of upset because I had really, now I'm 2-3 years in writing my raps and I'm feeling like I'm getting better and I'm really falling in love with hip hop in a different way now. You know what I'm saying? Differently than how it was introduced to me. It's like it's being reintroduced to me, you know, in my teens. Because now I'm going through all this different music, listening to all these artists, all this shit that I wasn't listening to when I first came in the game.
Like who?
Like Pac, like 50, like, you know what I'm saying, DJ Quick, you know, Jay-Z, you know, some of these dudes that was just like shifting the culture. You know what I'm saying? And Bone, a lot of Bone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started really understanding what Bone was bringing to the culture. Now I fell in love with the harmonizing and all of that. So Bone really became like top of the list who I was listening to.
I don't feel like they get their credit. And they're like the only group to do a song with Tupac and Biggie. It's legendary. I had the Mo Thugs album. I had all that shit back in the day.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. That's very true.
They're out of Cleveland, but they're dialed in with Eazy-E out of LA somehow. Like I don't know how they did that.
Oh, the grind is crazy.
Yeah.
Pre-internet.
Yeah.
Doing shit pre-internet, you're a different monster. You moved a whole different mindset. Promoting yourself pre-internet, I'm on TV.
Out of Cleveland,
Lot of
like you got to
flyers.
stress that because nobody had come out of Cleveland ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of shit.
Guys, by this point, we all know I hate inflation. There's one company out there giving you a break. It's Mint Mobile.
As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from your house, save a ton, and plans start at just $15 a month.
By going online only and eliminating the traditional cost of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings on to you.
All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Also, using eSIM allows you to use your phone and switch over to Mint Mobile seamlessly.
To get your new wireless plan starting at just $15 a month, get it shipped directly to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Yola.
Again, guys, that's mintmobile.com/Yola. Starting at just $15 a month, these plans couldn't get any better.
When they came out, it was like one album. Even their first album was huge, that Creeping Up on the R or whatever. But
Creeping up on the come up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story that I don't think I've ever told this story on camera, but my Uncle Lay, the one time that he came in and I actually got like some songs with him on it when I was like a little kid. Him jumping on the verses, like I'm like a little ass kid on the song, like, and he got a verse on it. But when I was about maybe 15 or 16, he had reached out to my mom's and said that he wanted to start like a little Bone Thugs and Harmony called Mighty Mo Thug 5, right?
Mighty Mo Thug.
Mighty Mo Thug 5, right? And his vision was like, you know, to bring us to Arizona and you know, get us to record an album and shop that album. You know, and it was me, my little brother, and it was Lazy Son, J-Bone, and it was two other artists, Chris and 3. Chris was from LA and 3 was from New Orleans. And yeah, we was supposed to be the Mighty Mo Thug 5. So we went to Arizona, and we ended up being in a studio. There was a studio in Arizona that had an A, B, and C room, and this was crazy. In the A room was Swiss Beats and Cassidy. This like 2005.
You're a kid.
I'm 15.
That's the I'm a Hustler era.
Cassidy in that motherfucker.
On top of the world.
This was actually right after, you know what? Now that I'm thinking, this was right after, I think Cassidy was he in a car accident?
Yep.
This after he recovered from his car accident. You know what I'm saying? Him and Swiss Beats was in Studio A, and Bone was in Studio B, and Mighty Mo Thug 5 was in Studio C.
The next hits of the world right there.
Yeah, like, honestly, man, my Uncle Lay had the vision, you know what I'm saying, but Bone was working on their album, and Swiss Beats was doing some work on their album as well, and like, they were supposed to be focused, and my Uncle Lay really tried to set something up for us to try to take advantage of that didn't take away from Bone, because they knew they had that Studio C. And we blew it, you know what I'm saying? They put an Xbox or some shit in the apartment we was in. Niggas wasn't writing their verses. And now, don't get me wrong, and they'll let you know if you ever talk to them. I always had my verses ready. I showed up. I always knocked my verses out easy. Like, but you know, it took them a lot longer. Me and my little brother, we was always smooth. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the other three played the video games and different things like that, and we played the video games too. We was all just kids. But anyways, J-Bone, my cousin J-Bone, Lazy Bone's son, took the BB gun and accidentally shot the backboard out of the basketball court. Y'all got a basketball court outside just like that.
One of those.
He got the BB gun and shot the damn backboard out some kind of way, shattered the shit, bro. We was on the next flight home the next day. The group was over, nigga. Mighty Mo Thug 5 was finished, nigga. Started, it was
Because
finished.
of a BB gun and video games.
Bruh, you know, and I love you, Wish, but Wish was like, get these little motherfuckers out of here, man. They destructive, you know what I'm saying? So Mighty Mo Thug 5 never worked. My Uncle A vision never got to come to life, but you know, I was able to go off and do my own thing, and so was everybody else. And he got to see it all turn into what it is. But like, yeah, I never told that story. That Mighty, people be like, sometimes like, man, you know, they had to have helped them a lot along the way and things like that. And you know, those stories, you can't kind of like clear it all up, right? Yeah. So you just kind of let it be what it's gonna be. Totally. But like, there was a time where my Uncle A did really try to make something happen for us, and we blew it. You know what I'm saying? Mighty Mo Thug 5 was over.
The fact is, and we blew it.
Man.
Did you, Swiss Beats is probably my favorite producer. Like, did you see him in there working and shit at all?
I'll tell you, I saw Swiss Beats. We never got a chance to talk to him or anything because he was in the vibe. But Cassidy did come in there and talk with us and had a conversation with us and talk to us about, you know, proper preparation. You know what I'm saying?
One of the greatest writers of all time.
Yeah, like being prepared, being ready. You know, he had music that he was sitting on and like shit that he was ready for just in case it jumped off. Yeah. You know, and he just came in and gave us a lot of games, so that was cool, you know what I'm saying? But it all ended so quick, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Man, like, my mom was done after that. She was like, y'all went out there and blew it. I'm done with this shit. And I was
like a 90s movie.
Yeah, it does.
It really does.
Do you have all these songs from back when you were like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old and shit?
Yeah, bro, I got a lot of them songs.
On disc, you got a couple.
I got it. Yeah, because my mom had them in the vault, so I got a couple of them, bro.
It's so sick.
Oh, that must. I don't have something like, you know. Oh, I got home video of me at my birthday. I don't have that. Imagine you have your thoughts. Oh, not your mom's thoughts. Damn it, never mind. It wasn't what you were saying. At least you got your little you. Yeah, you must have you
rapping
your ass off with little headphones bigger than you.
So sick.
That's some good shit to have, though.
Oh my god, that should be an album
good documentary starter. That's the opening to your documentary.
Word.
What a unique story. I've never heard anything like that,
dude. I love that. Damn, I feel like I should. Oh, you're only smoking grabbers, huh?
Nah, I smoke a paper.
You smoke a paper?
Yeah, man.
There you go.
Got you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
So we like to ask everybody in music, if we had to do like a all-time poll on your like Spotify of life of who you've listened to most lifetime, who do you think it would be right now?
Damn. I don't really listen to Spotify.
I mean, just like
music in general.
Your music listening, like lifetime playlist, you know. What artist do you think would be at the top that you've listened to and inspired you the most?
Bone would be at the top.
Still.
Yeah, Bone would still be at the top.
It's kind of hard to not when you're seeing it and you're seeing like, oh, they're successful and they're 1 degree away. I can be that, and then you start making music. I could see how that couldn't be your answer.
Yeah,
it kind of has to be.
Yeah,
right?
I guess
that's like you're everything when you're growing up in it.
Yeah,
and plus growing up in it, and you said you're a youth reporter. You're the little boy asking people shit. around award shows and stuff?
Yeah.
How was that? We glided right over that shit. Like, I was on Nickelodeon. I got gagged. Like, no, what happened? What happened?
You know what's crazy is I recently talked to my mom about this because there's like a little kid, you know, that be at the Raider games, and he be interviewing the Raider players, right? And he's like a little dude, and I see him, and I had to see if he had a social media, you know, and just to see if his parents was running his social media, and of course they are, and I couldn't help but think like, wow, like I couldn't imagine if my mom had a platform to broadcast what she was able to do with us, you know what I'm saying? And that's the big thing, is like, we did a lot of that youth reporting shit, but like after it was just right back to the regular shit, you know what I'm saying? We never got nothing out of that. Like there was like, we didn't get paid to show up and be youth reporters, you know? Most of the time, my mom started talking about how we have to stretch the money, you know, to make this shit happen, you know what I'm saying? And we would have a bunch of pictures with a bunch of different people, you know what I'm saying? Like I interviewed Nate Dogg.
Oh, shit.
You know, and I interviewed a lot of different people.
What'd you ask him?
Good question.
That's a great question. I truly don't remember, but I'll tell you this. My mom this shit was very structured. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, my mom, we went over these questions, and like, she made like these little books of questions that we could ask, and, you know, this shit was very meticulous.
Super responsive, like very organized. Road manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was burnt. Yeah, she was super organized for sure.
Were you confident, or were you like nervous, like going up to this adult first of all, like
8 years old, 9 years old?
Yeah, no, I was confident. I think like. Yeah, I was confident until the rap shit started. Like when I got on stage, that was different. I realized like all the eyes on me at once was a lot different than like me interviewing somebody and kind of paying attention to somebody and the eyes being on me. But like having to control the crowd that first time, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this.
How old were you the first time?
10, I think. Yeah.
I can barely get my kid to like order something at a restaurant, talk to the waiter and shit.
Yeah, I was 10. This is a Magic Johnson event out here in California.
You traveled for your first. Oh, that was so much pressure. Yo, you got a lot of confidence inside as a kid. I remember the first time I ever did it was wrestling, a sport thing where you're the one on the mat. I was like, damn, people are gonna look at me.
Right.
And I was 9. I'm like, I guess I'll do it.
Right.
That was scary. But you on stage. We just did a TED Talk. First time I've ever been on stage like that. I'm so glad I wasn't 9 years old because I would not have made it. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
I couldn't even imagine a child with that kind of pressure.
Oh, God.
Hell no, I wasn't the best.
I was feeling like a child.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Imagine being a kid like that, dude.
Is there anything that you think that to like... Is there anything that you like say to yourself or do backstage?
Help somebody out that's got a damn report or the valedictorian speech they got to do? What did you go in with that? Like, I got this. What did you say to yourself? Because
I was trying to psych myself up.
It's different. You're a child. Like, what did you do to psych yourself out? You're going on stage and you're traveling.
Oh, I was super. Like, I was in the mirror. I was confident. Yeah.
Oh, you're doing your thing.
Yeah. I went out there. Yeah, I quit after that first show though.
What happened?
I wasn't done with that shit.
What'd you do? What happened?
I was like, I can't. But then, you know, my mom got on my fucking head about quitting, being a quitter, and like she got on my top, and like she's like, we don't quit, you know what I'm saying? And like we just find different ways to handle it and deal with it, you know what I'm saying, on some Joe Jackson shit. And like I fucking was like, all right, cool. Well, like now I know at least what to expect. But like I went up there and I froze up a little bit. Like I think I started to move a little bit. Like I remember right before we went on stage, my first show, I'll never forget this. They had a mic with a cord and then a cordless mic. And the dude was like, it was me and my little brother. He was like, all right, which one of y'all want the cordless mic? And my mom was like, give him the cordless mic to me. And I was like, he gonna be the one moving around. I was like, damn.
I'm on the spot.
Damn. My brother had the cord mic. He was over there rocking that shit, his little ass. He didn't give a fuck. Like, he wasn't nervous at all. My little brother, shout out to my little brother. He killed that first show. Me, I froze up like a little hoe. And I quit after that, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, my mom talked to me and convinced me that, like, you know, that happens and that you can bounce back. And I ended up bouncing back. And I don't know. I just started to be more, I just realized that I had to be more confident in myself for real.
Wow. I love this so much.
This is epic, though.
The confidence you juice a kid up with like that, kind of throw him in the deep end a little bit.
By the way, he's the one that's gonna
that.
dance at your cordless. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yo, where's this little mini movie?
Seriously.
That's all I'm seeing is this little you and your little brother. I'm imagining everything. I can see your outfits right now in my head.
Freezing up on stage, coming
Little
back the
brother
next time.
backflipping and splits. Yo, dude, I
Give me
tell
the
you,
wireless mic.
90s kids are a different breed. You couldn't get a handful in all of America to do what you just did.
Yeah, if you guys had TikTok, it'd be different.
Oh, come on. Yeah, if you had an outlet, like you said earlier.
Anything, really.
Anything.
Because, you know, I got pictures with everybody. And, like, you know, and growing up, I used to just, it didn't really get us nowhere. So those pictures and shit would irritate me sometimes. Like, I didn't really like talking about them or show the homies or none of that shit. But now that I'm older and now that I see these kids and what they're doing and how their parents are utilizing these platforms to create a platform for their kids, you know what I'm saying, to be able to do something cool and to be able to show the world, to inspire other kids. That's the thing, is like what we were doing, we didn't have a way to show, we didn't have anything to show us that we were inspiring other kids. So we had a what do you call it? An article like called JFK, Just for Kids News. You know what I'm saying? That was my mom's shit. Like, we're gonna call it JFK, Just for Kids.
Oh, shit, was
you know,
really structuring this for you guys.
Yeah, and what we gonna do is you're gonna go around and you gonna ask the shit that kids want to know. You know what I'm saying? So she came up with all these different questions. But like, we would go do it and we didn't have any way to know if it was inspiring anybody. Like, there was nothing to put it on. It was just like going and collecting information and shit, and
There's no feedback.
Doing surveys.
And like, my mom's putting it together and trying to shop it, and she's getting feedback and all this different shit and telling us these different things. But, you know, we just at the crib like, okay. Well, let us know when it starts working out. Like, you know, and then it'd be another event that's like, that didn't really lead to anywhere, and then another event that didn't really lead to anywhere, and you're like constantly meeting famous people that people would be like super excited about, but you're like, why do we keep going to hang around these motherfuckers that got it all figured out again? Like,
oh man,
how does it make sense?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, it's gonna happen one day, and you're just like, all right.
I didn't know you grew up as one of these kids.
Yeah.
These are the kids you see like in movies. This sounds like a fucking movie.
Right.
So then, from, like you said, you're 15, you kind of break away from that, doing your own thing in music?
Yeah, yep.
So then how did we get to you in the gated community just doing your music?
Well, 15 to
chilling?
22, right? Is you're building up this family. Because essentially, when I first saw you, I heard one of your songs about, who is this? And then I followed you on Instagram. I followed you and I commented. And then you commented back before DMs. And then you followed me. I'm like, hey, this was cool as hell. I like this guy. And then I met you at a Cannabis Cup. That's all I remember. I'm like, yo, this guy, his music is sick. And then I followed. That was it. Because you know me with music. I'm a asshole. And if I hear it, I'm like, this is what I like. So that's how I found you. From 15 to 22, you're building up after you're taking off on your own. And I meet you at 22. You already had you're already doing your thing. So from 15 to 21, essentially, what were you doing? You're doing your own thing? You're doing your shows? You're doing the high school shit?
It's tricky.
It's tricky.
So,
oh, what story is coming out right now?
it's tricky. So I was actually living in, I went from Vegas to Covington, Georgia.
Family out there?
No, I actually moved out there with a friend. My mom, my boy Dujan. We had started a group called The Future when I was in 8th grade, and my boy, it was me, my little brother, and my boy Dujan, who at the time he went by Young D, you know what I'm saying? And he was about to move to Covington, Georgia, and I kind of didn't want the group to break up, and kind of jokingly, I just was like, man, I wish I could go out there with y'all, because we stacked up in my apartment. And then he was like, I asked my mom, you asked your mom. And then, yeah, long story short.
How old were you?
I started 9th grade in Covington, Georgia. Yeah.
13, 14, you left.
I was, 14. I was in Covington, Georgia with the homie. And I went out there to the country. You know, I didn't know how country that was going to be. You know,
Different world, I would imagine.
Just weeds, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so I went out there and got a real, like, South experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I went to Birmingham High. And, yeah, some kind of way, you know, my mom ended up moving the family to Covington, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? So I had found a crib out there that was, like, extremely in the country, fully furnished, you know, in the same vicinity as where my homeboy was staying. And, like, it was big as hell, and it was half the price of what she was paying in Vegas. And, yeah, I convinced her to, like...
You found this place as, like, a 14-year-old?
I found this spot, like, on my bike coming home from, like, playing basketball at this random house that I met at school.
You're
I heard.
Full grown man.
So I found
Were
this.
you looking for an apartment? Like,
Nah, I was just staying with the homie. Like, but I had just seen the crib. It had said for rent, and I was just like looking.
dawned on you?
I'm looking at the crib, and I'm like looking at the bedrooms, and I'm like, I hit my mom, like, how many bedrooms is it? What you paying? I'm like, I'm looking at a house right now that's like half that, and it's big as fuck. Mm-hmm. It's in the country though. It's you can only go this way and that way. It's only one way. It's country. And yeah, she ended up coming out there. Didn't work out, you know what I'm saying? Like, being in the country wasn't for my moms, wasn't for the family at all. So we ended up in California. And I came to California, and that's how I ended up at Hollywood High. You know what I'm saying? We went right to a hotel down the street from Hollywood High, and I was...
School?
Yeah. I stayed right around all these crazy motherfuckers. I used to go up there and see the motherfuckers dancing on Hollywood Boulevard, all this shit at like 15. Like, I was going to Hollywood High right here.
Damn, and you already experienced all the shit that these kids are trying to get done. Uh-huh. I'm trying to be a reporter, but I already did that shit, moved to the country, and now I'm back in the shit.
Yeah.
Bro, your life's a movie. Yeah. I didn't know about this.
Yeah, it was too wild, bro. I came back, and, you know, coming back from the country to coming to California, you know, it was just a whole nother world.
Were you excited for that? Like, did you want that?
That I want to move from Covington.
Georgia?
Yeah. It was kind of like everybody was just unhappy. You know, nothing was walking distance.
Were you still wanting to make music? Like, yeah, it's probably better if I go out to California.
Nah, I'm not. When we started going to California, I wouldn't think about music no more like that. I was like, man, I just want to play basketball.
Gotcha.
So I went to Hollywood High, and I made the team. I played on the basketball team.
Nice.
And I think I finished my 9th grade year at Hollywood High. And from there, I ended up in Santa Clarita. That's where my mom got an apartment and I ended up at a
Nice.
school called Golden Valley.
Golden Valley, there's one in Merced too.
Yeah.
Same one I went to in Merced.
So I went to Golden Valley out there, and you know, that led to my mom's losing that apartment and wanting to go back to Flint. So I'm originally from Flint. My mom wanted to go back to Flint and restart, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to go back to Flint. You know, I wanted to stay in California, you know? So once again, I moved in with a friend. She was a stud though. She was the homie. But I stayed with her and her brother and her parents, and they brought me in and things like that. And I was finishing school out here because I didn't want to switch schools. I had already switched schools so many times. I'm like, I ain't gonna pass no goddamn grades. Like, it was really so I could like finish school and shit like that, and then just figure it out with my moms once school was over. Well, shout out to Chelsea, that was her name, who brought me in, her and her family. Well, they had an aunt that worked in the country for 6 months and out of the country for 6 months. And, you know, when she was out of the country, her sister, who was Chelsea's mom, would just go check on the house and feed the dog and different things like that. But she said, you know, I had been around for a long time. She said that I could just crash at the crib while she was gone. And
And a whole house?
Whole house with a big ass wolf that I had to feed.
Yo, what movie script did you pull this shit from?
I swear to God.
I had to feed him raw.
Yo, this shit was it was an experience, yeah, man. So now I'm living in a crib, taking care of this crib for Chelsea's aunt while she's out of the country, and I'm going to school, doing my thing. Got a little girlfriend, everything was cool.
You're going to school while staying on your own in a house at 16?
Yeah.
Very disciplined, just keep going.
Yeah. I mean, the bus, you know, all I had to do was walk to the bus stop.
Yep.
And then, you know, catch the bus back and walk back to the crib. So it was pretty set up. And Chelsea's mom helped me with the groceries and make sure I had the food for the dog. And, you know, her whole focus was just me finishing school. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I had my little girlfriend, so it was what it was. Like, but it was lonely, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, my brothers, everybody was kind of scattered. You know what I'm saying? And then my mom's, out of nowhere, hit me and was like, I moved back to Vegas. I'm back on Boulder Highway. And I'm like, oh, what? She like, all your brothers is here, your sister's here, everybody. I'm like, oh, word? Everybody back in the crib? I'm like, damn, I'm over here living in this motherfucking crib with this wolf right now. Out here in California, and I got a girlfriend. I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? But I like miss my family, like miss my brothers and shit, so.
You only had 6 months, right? She was coming back.
Who, my mom?
The lady that lived in the house, right?
Oh, yeah, I only had 6 months, yep. So I don't even think I was there for the full 6 months. I think I was there maybe 3 or 4 months that I was there. And then my mom hit me and said that she was back in Vegas. So I decided to go back to Vegas.
You graduated?
And yeah, stay with my moms. But then my moms kicked me out.
Yeah.
Over what?
Tripping with her, nigga. Cause he was tripping with my little brother. So it was tricky. I'm like, he tripping with him. How I'm not gonna trip with him? And my mom tripped with me. So yeah, I ended up she gave me a crazy ultimatum, and I ended up having to leave. But at the time, you know, I had found somebody that had a home studio. And, you know, growing up in the music industry the way I grew up, I had never really seen like a home studio like that. It was always bigger studios and it always seemed like it had to be a bigger situation. So I kind of like really didn't want no smoke with the rap shit. Cause it always felt like you had to try to put on a persona. Like, because my mom always wanted us to be positive and do all this shit, it was like you had to put on this positive persona and shit like that. So, you know, I didn't really fuck with it. But I found this home studio and I'm like, you know, shout out to my boy R3D, you know what I'm saying? Cause he was one of the first people that I seen recording himself. And I could actually hear his vocals over the beat. And I'm like, oh, this crazy. I'm like, this crazy. I'm like, can I get down? Like, can you record me? Cause I got like some books of shit, nigga. Mm-hmm. And he like, yeah, we get the instrumentals and like, I'm like, cool. So I started recording with him and then I just started uploading it to MySpace. And like, you know, I was getting some cool little feedback. I'm like, all right, this cool, like, you know, but there was a platform for me to upload the music. I had never had that before, you know what I'm saying? So to be able to get feedback, it kind of like had my wheels turning a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So, but I had been in California and I had picked up a lot of game and a lot of knowledge, and I had been in the South and I had picked up a lot of game and a lot of knowledge and a lot of game from Michigan, the Midwest, and in Vegas. And, you know, I'm like, maybe I could just find a way to intertwine all this shit, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I just started making the music and yeah, it just started.
Going from there?
Mm-hmm.
Out of Vegas?
Yeah, we always known as the same name?
Nah, so.
What was the first one? What's the first name you picked?
The first name was Lil Ronnie.
Lil Ronnie.
Lil Ronnie was the first name. Yep. Lil Ronnie was my first name, and then Dizzy D Flashy was my second name. And then...
Are we going all the way back?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the way back, Lil Ronnie was my name for the longest.
When you were rapping as a kid?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
cool.
I was Lil Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became Dizzy D Flashy when I got to high school. So, yeah, in high school I was throwing parties. And, you know, shit, like when I was in California, I had seen like the jerk movement kind of like...
Oh, damn.
Making its waves, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, this is fire, you know what I'm saying? And I got to Vegas, you know, my mom's hit me out the blue and was like, she back in Vegas, so I just ended up in Vegas, but I had been in Cali for a little while, you know what I'm saying? And when I got to Vegas, like, you know, they wasn't on nothing. Like, they wasn't hip to none of this shit. Like, I'm like, y'all ain't heard of YG? Day up there.
Oh, you guys are out here in the desert.
I'm like, you know, they eventually got on it, but when I first got there, you know, the style, everything was very behind in high school, you know. I don't know what the older niggas was doing. Niggas gotta understand that I was in high school, you know what I'm saying? Cause you know how grown niggas be coming out and be like, nigga, we was on that.
Yeah, you're also 31 years old.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, look, I'm talking about the niggas, the young niggas that was in high school. So anyways, I came out there and I just started throwing parties and I was kind of playing that California music that I had got hip to when I was out there. And it made my parties a little different. You know what I'm saying? I felt like it wasn't just the music that was on the radio. You could come and hear some different West Coast shit. And there was some dances to it. You know what I'm saying? And the Cali niggas started coming to Vegas and they started showing out. You know?
Parties?
Yeah, because I had homies in California that I was telling.
Yeah, they would come out for your high school parties? How fat are these?
Well, see, there was a teen club called Club Frozen. And, you know, shout out to Sam. He gave me 2 weekends out the month, you know, every other weekend. So I got to throw a little party with a little theme. You know what I'm saying? With a different theme. Might be an all-white party or whatever, you know, phone party, whatever, right? And, yeah, like, we started to be able to have, like, little performers come through. So there was some rappers and different people who was doing their thing in the city or whatever, like in Cali, and we would tell them like, come do your song. That shit going up out there, come perform it in Vegas. And they would come out and they would do their thing, and the Vegas niggas would do their thing, and then it started to come where the Vegas niggas would battle the Cali niggas, and it would just be, you know, just like a dope ass time. Like, you know, competitive, everybody was trying to show off their moves. It was just like some young nigga shit. And,
Sounds fun as hell, though.
and I was throwing them things, you know. So what I started doing was like making, you know, some jerk songs, like, and I just started slipping them motherfuckers into the rotation. I was just like, hey, bro, just throw this in the rotation. Let's just see what it do. Like, and I seen that, you know, people would just like fuck with the music, and I'm just like, okay, all right. I could probably, you know what I'm saying? I could probably do this. Like, they fucking with it. And yeah, from there I just got inspired, like, to just, you know, like, do this shit. But really it was like, you know, YouTube and all that shit was so new that I was like, all right, well, if I do a video, I'm just gonna do videos to my real shit. And I just put like the jerk shit out on like MySpace and like keep that shit separate. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still in the club, but I'm not necessarily trying to be that artist. I'm carving out a lane for me to be an actual hip hop artist, right? To be able to talk about shit, because that was kind of always the plan. So yeah, and that's how all this shit really just.
What's the story though?
That's how all this
You
shit.
went to
really-
throwing your own parties,
yeah.
slipping your. All right, so this is that's your water, by the way. This is a movie. Also, you said you just wanted to play basketball, so you're good at basketball. You would say you're good. I got a little story for you that you may remember. You probably don't because you do a lot of things. This is confirmed, and I have it on a hard drive somewhere.
Okay.
One time you invited me to your show, and it was in Santa Cruz. So me and Rosie go out to the show. Show's dope. Super sick. Show's over. You're about to go outside, and you're like, yo, I'm going to change, do my thing. And you come back in. Like, all right, cool. And there's 40 fools looking through that back window of the Catalyst, trying to look back into the, because they know you're still chilling, right? You go, is that a basketball hoop? And they wheeled out the basketball hoop, and you go, I've been able to play both. And then you started drilling, like, oh, he's good. Do you remember what happened after this or no?
I don't.
All right. Oh, here we go. It's like you weren't even there. Here we go. So we started playing basketball, and that's the day I realized, like, damn, I didn't even bring my belt. I'm holding my, and I love basketball, so I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna play. You, me, your drummer, the live drummer, the dude with the big afro, I don't know who he was,
Yeah.
4 other fools, DJ Hoppa, and I think that's it, like 7 people. We played a full game to 21. Ones, and from far, you know, hella far, might count as 2.
Yeah.
This man's good at basketball, right? I found out he's very good at basketball. So we're playing basketball. We're going for a fucking hour. You're playing hard. You're pouring. Everyone's competitively pushing each other down, back, and then shooting. He's shooting. Everybody's doing their thing. The fans are doing this with their phones through the back. We're playing for a full hour. This tour bus is right outside. So everything's outside. It gets better. Don't just wait. Everybody's going to 21. And you say if you don't hit it on 21, you go back to like a 15 or 18. I'm like, oh, God, man.
It's demoralizing.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Security guards are at the door just kind of waiting because they have to take you to the bus, and nobody's left. And they eventually open the doors, and all the fans are around the middle of the Catalyst stage, right?
Okay.
And they're all watching this game. I have it on tape. I will find it before this episode comes out. This dude hits the final shot, makes it. Everyone erupts like we're in a stadium. Do you remember? All right, here we go. This fool jumps up into these people. They pick him up on the shoulder, start carrying him out, and he's doing this. And they carry him to the fucking bus outside.
The Benny Rodriguez moment.
Yes, exactly. They pick him up, and everybody's like, look at this fucking guy. They picked him up. And you had a little like a shaved little, you had like a flat top. I think.
Yeah.
That's when someone snatched your hat off your head, and I had it on tape. And then you snatched it back while you had the microphone during the show. This is the same show, that show.
From a makeshift pickup game.
Bro, it was a full on like, damn, I haven't played in a minute. And I shot. And someone else shot. And he was like, let's go to 5. And then it went on to you took your shirt off. And everyone's playing hard as hell. I had to drive back to Merced. It was an hour or something game.
Drenched.
But the fact that he turned around on the sea of people and looked at all of us like, yeah, you won, fool. It was the best shit ever. It was like a movie. It was like the end of an Air Bud movie. A Disney movie.
so funny.
And I've told that story on the show before. When we brought you up one time, season 1. But
is
very
fucking
small.
That's
hilarious.
heroic.
It was
God damn.
amazing. So yeah, I know you're good at basketball. I was there. That's literally it. That's all I wanted to say.
I remember when they rolled that out. I do. I do.
Good. I'm glad it didn't happen so often that you just end up in little games that lead to them carrying you
Because
off
they were
into the
moving it
distance
and you
shit.
go, shot. I'm going, oh, then you start dribbling and then just. Rosie sat there for an hour and a half, was watching us competitively play a game. Dude. So that's my story. That's what I remember from that day. It was at the Cows in Santa Cruz, man. I'll never forget that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so whenever you do your movie, you could end it with that.
Right. That's a great ender.
And then it bleeds to black. It's like a Disney movie. All right, my bad. That was an amazing ass story you just told. You should make a movie of your life, and that was just asking about music. You're a good storyteller, man.
Damn. That was
Very good
riveting.
storyteller.
What a story.
I was stuck, completely stuck. I don't even know how long. How long have we been?
I have no idea.
Oh, we only been. Oh, it's the weed.
Yeah.
We haven't been here that long. All right, good. I just wanted to make sure we're good. So yeah, he's good. Marty used to play college basketball. Marty's good at basketball too.
Fine.
I'm not.
Yeah. We had Matt Barnes in here and went over at our most embarrassing moments on the court and all that.
They do all the
So-
smoke right here on this set right here. So Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson right here, and they got Kevin Garnett somewhere. I don't know. We're in it's Tyson. We're in a room full of athletes, and I'm the only one that's like, I could dribble.
Right. That's dope though.
Yeah, it's dope. It's dope. Do the damn, that was a good story. All right.
Now, I know you mentioned when you mess with the gravel leaf, right?
Yeah.
So is that your, like, on your free time, is that the main way you fuck with weed?
Yeah, it is.
What about, like, edibles, dabs, mushrooms, shit like that? You venture off into that stuff?
No, not right now. Just flower. Really, I haven't done mushrooms yet.
You haven't done mushrooms yet at all?
At all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I haven't done them yet at all. I plan to indulge
It'd be
though.
very fun for you.
But yeah, I dabbed and I've done it all, edibles, everything. But yeah, right now I'm just smoking the flower.
Yeah. And it's, like, part of the whole process as far as writing, recording.
And not even that, it's your own.
Listening
It's
back.
your own weed too.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
It's your
realize
own-
that.
It's his own line with Crown.
yeah,
Crown OG, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that little face. That's yeah, that's his spread. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still have the same logo
I
with the
do.
hat.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in Vegas, it's with Redwood Cultivation. So I have different flavors with them. Like we have a flavor called Heavy Jazz out right now, and Smooth Funk.
Is that inspired by the album? I'm assuming.
No, actually, it was before the album. So
Heavy
I
Jazz,
I
Smooth
guess.
Funk?
Yeah, and Groovy OG. So it's kind of like I was already on it.
On that wave.
Yeah.
Groovy OG.
It's like I manifested it, you know? Then they just came with the sound, and we just were able to make it work.
So going back to that, did they come with, like, a bunch of beats, or was it, like, more collaborative?
Yeah. So Mike, shout out to Mike, because pretty much the whole album are beats that were picked out the first night. You know, that I was just like, we were just listening to beats, and I just was like, that one, that one, that one. And he just gave them all to me. And the ideas got put down, and then we got together, and then, you know, it really all got curated.
Do you like to be, like, isolated? Like, I'm going to take these beats, and you'll see me in a couple days, and I'm going to come back with these songs written?
Doesn't matter to me. Like, you know, I could do it that way, or like we could get it in a moment. Like we could do it right now. Don't bother me none. I'm like, you know, the music really just takes over for me when it's time to create.
Are you always floating around with like concepts and bars and loose thoughts and stuff written down where you can like pull from?
Do I constantly do it throughout the day?
Yeah, like, do you have a notepad that's always just full of thoughts that you can pull from?
No.
Or you just, everything's fresh?
Yeah, it's mostly fresh now.
That's cool.
Like, you know, I'll, you know, I go off of whatever is processing, you know, so I go and I do like my research and I like just live life and listen to different podcasts and different things like that. And whatever process that like sticks out or gives me a feeling is like, that's the energy I like go with.
All organic, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Before I forget, do you remember the Crown OG, Dizzy, how that got, do you remember that? The conversation? I remember, do you remember from the picture, how that happened? Do you remember or no? No?
What you talking about?
The Crown OG, how you guys met up or no?
No, what do you remember?
I remember that my homie made a picture of you at a wax using Crown OG.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then the owner was like, "Hey, I know you've hung out with a guy before." I'm like, "Yeah." And then remember we linked in the text message, and then you guys went to. You're like, "Yeah, we should do some work together."
Is that how it all
That's
happened?
exactly. It was at the Push Trees house. I was in front of the apple chandelier. I have a great memory. I was like, "Hell yeah!" Because he made that picture of you smiling out of wax. Remember, he made it, dripped it, and cut it.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, yeah, I can piece that together. I only remember, like, where I remember the start of, it's like the conversation that I feel like I had after I was so stoned when we were, like, initially meeting, right? Like, I remember the conversation when it was like, yo, so we feel like we grow the best weed in the world and nobody knows about it, you know? And and that's where I normally started from, but I know prior to that we all had to link, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's crazy hearing that. Like, that's
in the
crazy.
blanks.
Yeah, it was at the Push Trees house.
Yeah, filling in the blanks.
And I remember I told you a couple years ago, like, the Dizzy OG. I was like, yeah, because they were like, they made a picture. I'm like, can you link us? I'm like, yeah. And I just sent you the picture, like, who made this?
I remember that.
Yeah. It's a trip. Oh,
That is a trip.
Years later, dude.
And then, okay, so speaking of filling in the blanks, so you stopped before you got to Dizzy Wright. So how did we get to that name?
Oh, shit, we did.
Yeah, so
Just realized that.
so as Dizzy D Flashy, I you know, I had did a bunch of stuff. Like I had performed on 106 in Park and did some different
Oh, shit.
competitions
As a kid?
in high school.
Oh, shit.
Hold on, who was the host? It's a free-
Terrence and
okay.
Terrence and
I forget
Roxy?
the girl's name. Yeah.
Terrence and
Yeah,
Roxy.
you're going.
They were-
in high school on 106 in Park. Oh, yeah, they're going to your parties, bro. We're coming to your party. You're gonna play this shit. I get what you're for. You're just being very humble about like I was throwing Project X parties, but like listening ones.
Yeah.
This is sick.
We're thinking about like some.
My party, like everybody's just high. No girls are here. It's all dudes. That was our high school party in a garage full of dudes doing drugs together.
That's not what he's talking about.
It's not the parties.
No, it was lots of girls, lots of fun, lots of dancing. And at this time, you know, like, I mean, you know, Pretty Ricky was in and like, you know, Chris Brown, you know, record was clean, you know, it's like, it was a different time, you know what I'm saying? But we had a lot of fun back then. So, well, the Dizzy D Flashy, to me, had got really associated with the jerk movement, and the jerk movement had took a mainstream turn. And I didn't have nothing to do with that mainstream turn, but I didn't like being like associated with it more than the actual music that I was working on as projects. So I was doing mixtapes, and my mixtapes didn't represent, I didn't put any jerk songs on any mixtape ever. You know what I mean? Like, that was just stuff that I had on YouTube, and the DJs had.
You were
to
doing
have
like an alias for the radio, basically. Or for like the
yeah,
jerk
it
world.
was just like some shit for the DJs and for YouTube, and like there was like a little, I would say, kind of like viral moment that I had of a like dance that somebody created. It's like a TikTok dance before TikTok that some kid did, where he, you know, did some little dance and jumped up in the air and clapped his hands, and then everybody started doing that, and it became like a little thing, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people knew me for that, you know what I mean? So I wanted to separate myself from that. So I decided to just cut the D Flashy and just start using my regular last name. And it's crazy because back in that time, it just felt like it was a huge decision.
Yeah.
I'm like, this feels like a huge
You're
decision.
giving up all the momentum you had built up.
Yeah, because
Starting over.
everything was Dizzy D Flashy through my YouTube, so it was really just going through my YouTube and changing everything from D Flashy to Wright. But it felt like such a big thing to do, you know, at that time, and like, that was kind of the shift into who I am today, really.
Did you like did things kind of start like taking off at that point?
Nah, I just got hungry. Like, you know, this Live at Daddy Mac's time, you know what I'm saying? Where like there was little shows and things like that were, I performed at Daddy Mac's Dizzy D Flashy a few times, you know? So I was hungry to get back out there as Dizzy Wright, you know? And like revamp, you know what I'm saying? And like separate myself from the jerk shit and the party shit, and you know, get more on the hip hop shit and the poetic shit.
Love it.
And yeah, that was kind of the shifting moment. I just got really hungry after that. I started doing all the competitions, everything, and that's how I ended up getting in front of the Funk Volume. And then from there, yeah.
That's where everything just took off.
Yeah, the rest is history.
What's it like when you drop an album, then you got to kick back, and now all the comments, all the reviews come in? I'm thinking about that moment tonight whenever it drops.
Yeah.
Like all your fans are so excited for it, then they get to appreciate it, and you get to kick back.
And your show tonight.
Yeah.
It's kicking off.
And so
Today's a great day,
Let's
man.
go.
Today's gonna be sick. I'm glad you're here on the day that something so important's happening.
Yeah,
so thank you for that.
I'm glad I get to come and share these stories with y'all today. That's awesome. It feels good, man. Honestly, it's like, all right, it's not just you and the homies, you know, little thing anymore. You know, like now it's gonna belong to the world. You know what I'm saying? And I think that there's some beauty in that. Like, you know, somebody's gonna feel good, somebody's gonna be inspired, it's gonna shift somebody's energy, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, of course.
It's a great message to put out there.
Yeah.
That's what we, at the end of every episode, I hope this helps somebody. I hope somebody out there is thinking different.
That's the whole
all you can
tone
do.
of his music,
And
too. Like,
exactly.
it's
And
so...
the message you put out, I'm sure when you meet fans in person, they tell you their life story and the exact moment they heard something goes, that's when I started thinking like that. I'm sure you get it all the time because you're a positive person. Like that, like you get reciprocated the same thing.
Word.
You know what I mean? You put it out, like we were talking about it yesterday. Like, there's always a line, I'm sure you have it. There's a line of an artist that said something, go, I'll be connected forever because of that. Just because you can find relatability. And like you say, I used to drop my name. I used to drop my age so you could see where I'm at, my growing process.
Yeah.
That also is like, yo, I'm 29. Like, this fool's going through the same thing. And I listen to him.
Right.
And then like, yo, you're not just an artist, you're a human being after that point. And I feel like people lose that a little bit when it's about like we said, you didn't get a bunch of Percocets and gun verses. And I think when that starts to happen, if that's who you are, that's, you know what I'm saying. If that's who you are, that's what you know. you're gonna be like, yeah.
It's not about his image, it's about his
I
message.
like that kind of music too.
Yeah,
But that's not who I am.
Word.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
Your
shit.
mom must be so happy how it turned out.
Yeah, I would. I mean,
imagine.
you would have to ask her. You know what I'm saying? But she's definitely proud of, like, you know, the type of artist that I became. You know what I'm saying? It's yeah, it's interesting, man. Just like, it's interesting. You know, I know she would like to be more a part of the music industry and have more of a place in the music industry, you know, but the times are a lot different, you know.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, absolutely.
So where can everybody find your album at?
You can find it everywhere. It's gonna be on all platforms.
Every platform, and you're dropping some of your music videos on Dizzy Wright YouTube.
Yeah, so I'm dropping my first music video for the album tomorrow at 10 a.m. And it's called You Get What You See. The song's not out yet. You'll hear it in a couple hours on the album. And yeah, this album is different. You know, we're gonna get out here and we're gonna pretty much, when they listen to it, it's gonna be a live version of it. You know, they'll be able to come out and see a live version of it, and we'll help it grow on them before it has to grow on them, and they'll be able to go back and, you know, enjoy it, sit with it, and I think it's gonna be refreshing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm excited.
Whenever someone's excited about their own shit, it's a good sign, man.
It's a good sign.
I'm excited, and this is your first step. You say, it's not just with your homies anymore. This is sick. I'm excited, man. I'm
It's
excited
still
for
my
you.
homies. It's still
No,
with
you know
my
what I'm
homies.
saying. It's not just the.
But it's with the creative minds.
If you listen to Nipsey's catalog, when you get to that victory lap, you can hear the difference in the sound. There's unquestionably like,
Absolutely.
oh damn, somebody came in here and like really put professional polish on this. So I'm
agree.
looking forward to hearing that for sure.
Yeah, that's absolutely what happened to me. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely my most quality album, and I think it will be recognizable right away.
Damn. So what exact time does it drop today?
9 p.m.
Oh, tonight. Oh, we got some time. All right.
And then what cities are coming up?
For your tour.
We have LA tonight. We have Phoenix tomorrow. And then I believe Flagstaff. Okay, Flagstaff, Arizona. I know we're going to. Are we going to Albuquerque? Albuquerque.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Check the
Everybody get tickets
website.
at. Yeah. What's
Yeah,
the website?
DizzyWright.com to check out the dates. It's mostly the West Coast, but we have more dates that are coming out. You know, we're gonna go to the South, to the East. We also going to Canada,
Nice.
Australia, and Europe. You know, so we have a lot of different dates that are coming out, but we starting with the West Coast. And we're gonna go out there and celebrate this new music with the West Coast first. You know, because we know the West Coast gonna be able to appreciate this right off the bat, and we're gonna grow from here. You know, yeah.
Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you, brother.
It's a big day. It's a big day.
I'm excited.
And like I said, thank you for coming here. Thank you for chilling, sharing the stories. Today was dope. I appreciate you. And
Man,
like I said,
anytime,
on an
man.
important day. So thank you, dude. And when you're in LA, come fucking chill.
I will, man.
Yeah, come,
Anytime.
not even here. I'm saying, go to my house, man.
Easy
Come hang
call.
out.
I gotta come see the crib,
Yeah,
bro.
come smoke and chill. There's a dab room and shit. Like,
Yeah, I love it.
I don't have kids, so I just made it's the dab station. Look at this room. So I have a toy room, bro.
All right, right
And
on.
I have no kids. But I got,
It's true.
that shit's sick, though. I like
fun.
that.
I'm gonna definitely slide there.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate you being here, guys. You got anything else, Marty?
Thank you. This was legendary. I know how important this was for the fans. So,
Right on.
you know, we love being in a place where people can come on and like talk like this, tell their stories, stuff we didn't know.
Yeah.
Just really
Shit I
make
didn't know.
everything make sense. So, thank you.
Hell yeah. Well, I hope it was insightful, and I'm glad I was here. And anytime y'all need me, man, just holler at me. I'm always
Appreciate it.
a blunt away.
Thank you, man. Thank you for being here, guys. Thank you so much for being here. This has been another episode of the Dope as Usual podcast from Marty, from Dizzy Wright, and I. Have a dope ass day.
Thanks for watching the podcast. If you thought this was dope, you'll like this episode too. And don't forget, the best way to support the show, tell a homie.